So what has Max Ace done now? So we have a brand new model that just dropped from Max Ace. They actually have a couple models. I'm not sure if I'll get them both, but I will link them both down in the description because there is another one that looks really, really cool that hopefully I'll get on the channel. But for the most part, all Max Ace knives that I've tried have been really, really good. But this new one is in MagnaCut steel, and it is the Raptor. MagnaCut steel at 60 HRC. Now, I know 60 HRC is on the softer side for MagnaCut with this type of application, but to be honest, with this type of application, I'm not mad at it. You're still gonna get the toughness, you're gonna get high amounts of toughness, the corrosion resistance, and it'll still hold a really good edge. But being a self-defense style knife that could also be used as an EDC knife, you're wanting this blade to be effective, not necessarily hold a working edge for eternity, right? Now, it'll still hold a really long edge for a very long time, but it's not gonna be able to compete with, say, high performance MagnaCut that you would expect on a work knife or something like that, right? So, but, you know, for the application, it's fine. So you have this Hawkbill blade in MagnaCut steel that looks devastating. Nice big, nice amount of recurve. It has a nice little clip here, so that tip is really going to be effective in penetrating first and then pulling everything into the blade. So all this thing has got to do is touch you. If this touches you, it's going to be bad news. Next thing. We have a titanium handle. Now, this is not a traditional karambit. I should have said that already. And I'll explain that here in a second. But we have a titanium handle, titanium frame with these titanium overlays. So all these are titanium. Everything in here is titanium. So titanium on titanium. We have a little milled titanium clip that works good, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Now, this karambit ring. Oh yeah, and a little Timascus inlay, sorry. Beautiful little Timascus inlay. They always send extra hardware, so you have brand new hardware for this entire knife. I love, love, love that. It obviously has a wave feature. We'll talk about that here in a second, but let's talk about this ring. Why is this not a traditional karambit ring? Well, because a traditional karambit ring is carried or is used in the reverse grip like this. This one is not made for that. It is made to be carried in the forward grip, which I honestly kind of prefer. I'll be honest, I actually prefer it this way. Now I know somebody who is trained in karambits will prefer the traditional way. I'm just not that guy. So I like it in the forward grip where I can get more distance. I feel more comfortable with it than in the reverse grip. Now in the reverse grip, if you do hold it in the reverse grip, you can do it. You just can't get your knuckle all the way. I mean, you can, depends on how big your finger is. Mine gets really tight, but I can hold it like this nice and comfortably if I really, really needed to hold it in the reverse grip. But in the forward grip is the way the clip is positioned. So you can literally remove it with your pinky just like this. As it deploys, because you'll wave it out, you can swing it around and catch it in the forward grip. It's very easy to do. Now, you could also do it without putting your finger in the karambit at all and just yank it out and reverse flick it, because this knife has amazing reverse flicking action. You don't even have to use the hole. You can literally just use the blade, and I can do that with every finger I have on my hand. Like, that's how easy it is to do. I can even thumb flick it off the blade. And it's not that it has a light detent, it's just that there's so much blade coming out that it's effortless. Seriously effortless. But you always do have the hole deployment if that's, what your preference is. I prefer off the blade. But there's also all the little trick shots because you have that wave. You can finger it open that way. You can thumb flick it that way. You can probably even wave it. There's so many ways to flick this thing. But anyways, you can see it's got the external stop pins that are in the open and closed position. So that's a nice, strong, secure lockup. The wave feature, I think, is titanium. You can take it off if you don't want it on there. Beautiful sharpening tool and plunge grind. Good access to the lock bar. Very smooth on the drop. And then, this karambit ring, like I said, is going to be for the pinky, not for the pointer finger, but it is very comfortable in this grip. I feel like I have a ton of distance with this. I feel like I could catch somebody real easily with it. It does feel very effective. It's not going to be for everybody. But you know, if you are the type of guy who likes a nice hawkbill blade, and that's another thing, you don't have to have it as a self-defense knife. This will make an awesome EDC knife. You know, being a hawkbill blade, as long as you're not scared to sharpen it, which you shouldn't be if you follow me, because I teach you guys how to sharpen knives, and all you need to sharpen this is a 1/2 inch stone or a round stone. Now, you know, yeah, you're gonna need a 1/2 inch stone, at least a 1/2 inch stone or a round stone. You have no issues sharpening this. I would say you might be able to get by with a 1 inch. It's hard to say, maybe. But anyway, so you might not even need anything special with this one. You might be able to do it with a regular 1 inch wide stone, which is typical on most fixed angled systems. Anyways, so the clip is rather small, but you know, it works. It's nice and tight. This is a heavy knife and it holds on to it pretty well, but you know, some people might feel like it's a little small because it is kind of stubby, and it is small, but you know, like I said, it does work. But one thing I gotta love about this in all Max Ace knives is the details, man. Like, look at some of this machine work, like how this matches up on this titanium to this titanium, because this is an overlay, and you can see how just all the little details match up from one piece to another. I absolutely love it, man. And you know, that's one thing that really excites me about Max Ace, is those little details that, you know, like you can see there's just so much work put into these. And you know, since they also send extra hardware, and you know, you have all the extra hardware, you can always replace any of these if you ever have any issues or anything like that. But you know, you have the steel lock bar insert in there, nice jimping and traction right there. The lockup is rock solid. You know, they definitely have the little details down pat, and you know, I'm here for it, because like I said, you know, without Max Ace, we don't have that many companies. I mean, we have a few, but Max Ace is doing things that other companies just are not. They're doing the extreme. They're doing the big, the badassery, the bulky, the insane, and I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, we need companies like that, and I'm glad that a company like this that does it to the extreme so well is available. Granted, you know, I do wish that their HRC would be upped a bit, but you know, it's like, you know, you got to get what you get sometimes, you know, and in this case, you know, I still love it. So a couple small negatives, because there's not much negative here. The only thing is, the one obvious is that for traditional karambit users, you know, you don't have the clip on this side, so you can't use it like a traditional karambit and spin it around and get it in the reverse grip, because the clip is not on this side. The clip is only on this side, which, you know, is set up for the pinky. Now, another thing is, you know, for traditional karambit users, the ring is not very big for you to use your pointer finger, so you're only going to use the front of it. It's not that big of a deal to me, but it will be to traditional karambit users. Other than that, you know, maybe the MagnaCut could be a little bit harder, or it could be a little bit harder, but like we already said, or like I already said, it's not that big of a deal on this application. Even if I wanted to use it as a basic EDC knife, you know, it's still going to do great, right? You know, so you know, it's going to be super effective. It's just not going to have the most extreme edge retention for MagnaCut. But other than that, really, you know, the clip maybe could be a little bit bigger. That is one thing, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but, you know, it could be. Other than that, you know, everything else, is done extremely, extremely well. And, you know, it functions really good. So work hard, stay tough. You know, society's relying on you. Until next time, peace.